If you're standing in a store staring at two Hot Wheels games, here's the real question. Do you buy the slick, skill-heavy Hot Wheels Unleashed, or the bright Netflix tie-in Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed that your kid recognizes from the show? Because those are two very different purchases, even though they share the same orange plastic fantasy. Ultimate Speed is developed by Bamtang Games and published by Game Mill, not Milestone, and it's based specifically on the animated series Hot Wheels Let's Race on Netflix. You've got the show's main racers Coupe, Spark, Mites, Axel, Cruise, plus a garage full of classic Hot Wheels models like Twin Mill and Duck and Roll. It's on PS5, Xbox Series, PC and Switch, and it's clearly aimed at younger players and families. Price-wise, reviewers mention around $40 for the base game, with a deluxe edition that bundles a DLC pack of extra cars and track parts. Moment to moment, this is a very straightforward arcade racer. Big loops, wild jumps, lots of boost pads, kids yelling "Go faster" at the TV. One review on Switch calls out how the tracks really feel like the sets you could build in your living room, iconic orange pieces, curves, loops, launchers, and the game commits to that toy vibe hard. You steer, you drift, you boost, you trigger a special car power when your gauge fills up. On top of that, you've got boss race events where you're dodging giant hazards and chucking items at huge enemies on the track, leaning a little more into playset come to life than pure racing sim. There's a decent amount of content for what's supposed to be a kid's racer. The main story mode is Race Camp, a 12-event campaign where your chosen driver competes for the ultimate garage with that Saturday morning cartoon energy. Beyond that, you get Cup Champ, which is basically your traditional multi-race championships with different cups and speed tiers from slow to ultra, free race for pick up and play fun, and speed trials for time-based challenges. All of that supports up to 4 players in local split screen, which is huge for a game like this. No online, no track sharing, no matchmaking. This is pure couch chaos. On progression, the game actually goes a little deeper than you might expect. Each racer has stats for handling, speed and acrobatics, and each car also has its own strengths. Combine a low handling driver with a low handling car and you're going to pinball off every wall. One reviewer admits they did exactly that on their first race and instantly regretted it. On top of that, decals add perks like longer boost duration or stronger drift bonuses, and flame badges from winning races unlock more cars, decals, and track pieces over time. For younger players, just watching their garage fill up and their custom tracks get crazier is a big part of the loop. Where things get spicy is how the driving actually feels. The positive reviews say the game is accommodating and accessible, with bumpers on the sides of tracks and a tractor beam that yoinks you back if you fly off the course, so kids aren't constantly punished. One critic really liked that you can tune difficulty by picking slower speeds, gentler cars, and still have a good time. On the other hand, a more critical review points out that the handling is only okay and maybe too busy for little kids. You've got side swipes, tricks in the air, lots of items and tracks that sometimes demand tight drifting, all layered on top of that bouncy, pinball off-the-rails physics. For an adult, that's just mildly janky arcade racing. For a 6-year-old, it might be a bit much. Boss battles split opinion in a similar way. Structurally, they're a cool idea. Race down the track, dodge attacks from a giant enemy, collect items and fire them when the boss opens a weak point. Sometimes you can only damage them while airborne, and you finish with a big special attack finisher. One review frames these as welcome variety and a fun way to break up regular races. Another says they're messy and confusing, with a lot happening on screen and not always clear feedback on why you're taking hits or missing damage windows. If you're guiding a kid through it that can instantly turn into here, let me do it territory. Track Builder is probably the cleanest win across the board. All 3 perspectives like the idea of sitting down and building your own ridiculous loops. You get a tutorial that walks through placing, rotating, and tilting pieces, ranging from straights and curves to ramps and loops. Building challenges give you structured goals if you don't want to freeform it. The downside, there's no online sharing. You can't upload tracks or download community creations, so it's a you and your living room tool, not a full Trackmania moment. Still, Still, for a kid who loves the physical toys, being able to build a course and then immediately race on it is the dream. Visually and tonally, the game nails what it's going for. Multiple reviews call out the bright, cartoony look, faithful representations of the real Hot Wheels cars, and upbeat soundtrack that fits the show. On PS5 and Switch, people weren't complaining about performance, so it seems stable enough. The whole presentation is Saturday morning cartoon turned interactive, right down to playing the show's theme song on the title screen. So how do these takes reconcile? One site scores it around an 8, praising it as a fun family racer with tons of content and a great track builder that respects all skill levels. Another also lands in the good range, calling it a colorful, all-ages racer that brings the show to life on Switch and highlighting local co-op and unlockables as big positives. The more critical outlet drops it closer to a 6, basically saying kids will like this. But why would you buy it when the Hot Wheels Unleashed games exist and drive better? Veteran Games' verdict looks like this. If you're an adult gamer hoping for a budget Hot Wheels Unleashed 3, this is not your game. The physics aren't as tight, there's no online, no deep time trial grind, and the handling is clearly tuned with kids and show fans in mind. But if you've got younger players who love the Netflix series, want to see Coop and Spark on screen, and don't have the patience or skill for Unleashed's more demanding tracks, Ultimate Speed is a pretty solid kid-first package. The content is generous, the difficulty is flexible, and the guardrails make it way less frustrating for a 5-year-old than a full Sim-Lite racer. If this kind of no BS breakdown that actually weighs whether something is good for you, not just its Metacritic number, is your thing, hitch a ride with Veteran Game and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next time a kid's game turns out way better or worse than the marketing suggests. And if you've tried both Unleashed and Ultimate Speed, drop a like so this take has a chance in the algorithm race. Here's the debate I want in the comments. When you're buying a licensed racer for kids in 2025, is it enough for it to be colorful, packed with content, and good enough? Or should we be demanding handling and design that actually teaches good racing fundamentals instead of bouncy, chaotic pinball driving?